Hi guys, so the government minister responsible for combating homelessness has resigned. Now this is following pressure from the media, following pressure from political parties in opposition, and a bit of a backlash from the general public. Now there's a bit of a problem here because the Minister for Homelessness was a landlord. Somebody thought that that would be a good idea, but have a listen to this.
It's a very swift resignation because it was only today that the newspaper carried on its front page the story about how the Minister for Homelessness ejected her tenants and then hiked the rent. Rushanara Ali is MP for Bethnal Green and Stepney. Now, she owns a townhouse in near her East London constituency. She removed tenants from the house, then relisted the property for £4,000 a month, an extra £700 in rent. She's recently spoken out about private renters being exploited. The Labour Party has made it illegal for landlords to relist a property for higher rent until 6 months after eviction.
Okay, so this doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I also read another report that she did not evict the people who were renting the property, but the tenancy was coming to an end and they were not willing to re-rent the building or the property. So we're getting conflicting reports. So because technically she didn't do anything illegal as far as I know. If she did something illegal, that would be a different story. But we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the fact that she's hiking the rent.
Under a new law. Now, she says she was putting the house up for sale and that the property was relisted for rent when she failed to quickly find a buyer. Let me tell you what she says in her letter of resignation, which follows calls from the Tories for her to quit today, the Tory party chairman, and indeed the new shadow housing secretary, that's James Cleverly. She says in a letter to the Prime Minister, It is with a heavy heart I offer you my resignation as a minister. It's been the honour of my life to have played my part in first securing and then serving as part of this Labour government. You will have my continued commitment, loyalty and support. She says, further to recent reporting, I wanted to make it clear that at all times I followed all relevant legal requirements. I believe I took my responsibilities and duties seriously, and the facts demonstrate this. However, it's clear that continuing in my role will be a distraction from the ambitious work of the government. I've therefore decided to resign from my ministerial position. She goes on to talk about working with Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, her ministerial boss, about social and affordable housing and so on, funding to alleviate homelessness and so on. And then there's another paragraph where she talks about serving in a government, investing in the NHS and so on. But this is, she has not made any attempt to ride out this storm and she has quit very quickly. Now, normally when a minister resigns as quickly as this, it looks as though the party's high command, number 10, has said, sorry, you've got to go.
And I think this is exactly what happened. Someone in number 10 said, you need to go. We don't want this storm brewing over the summer and then you eventually having to resign. So it's better that you go quickly. Now, as far as I know, once again, I don't think she's done anything illegal. Immoral, maybe, but not illegal. Now, the problem with all of this, and the media are focusing on the fact that she hiked the rent or the reporting, maybe false reporting that she kicked the people out. But the problem is much bigger than this. The problem is you have an MP who's a landlord and an MP who's a landlord and a minister for homelessness. Like, the focus of this story is her hiking the rent or kicking people out. No, the focus should be on who the heck thought it would be a good idea to appoint a landlord as homelessness minister. Like, she didn't receive these homes since she became a minister. She was not a landlord and then she was appointed minister and then she became a landlord. No, she'd been a landlord for some time. But somebody thought it would be a good idea. Let's appoint a landlord to this position? Because as a landlord, something like this would eventually happen. There would be a disagreement with tenants. Maybe they would write letters to the media. I don't know what type of landlord she is. She could be a wonderful one. She could be a terrible one. We don't know. But eventually there would be some sort of conflict and it would come out in the media and then she would have to resign. So who the heck thought, let's appoint a landlord to this position? Like, Labour have hundreds of MPs. You could have chosen anyone, but you said, let's go with a landlord. I don't know, it would be like, let's appoint a health minister from somebody within the private healthcare industry. I would prefer, and I think most people would prefer, a doctor to that position if you're going to go with somebody who has another job. But a landlord to the position of homelessness minister shows complete and utter disconnect from the reality of ordinary people. So I think Keir Starmer or Morgan McSweeney or somebody at the top decided this is going to become a distraction for us. Get rid of her. She needs to resign. But the focus should not be on her. Once again, the focus should be on those who appointed her. Why did they do that? Did they not understand the consequences of this? This is the sort of thing you'd imagine from Reform UK or the Conservatives. Let's put a landlord into this position because they're ridiculous parties, because they have nothing but contempt for the public. Labour are supposed to be on the side of the public. Now, this is maybe a bigger issue, a bigger question. Should landlords be MPs? Because remember, landlords as MPs can vote on legislation that can impact not just their constituents, but their renters. If somebody's a landlord, should they be an MP? We could ask that question. But then people may respond and say, well, should doctors be MPs or should business owners be MPs? Or I'm of the idea that if you're an MP, you have one job. If you're a landlord, then you should not be an MP because it's going to influence how you vote. And at a time when there's a housing crisis, where the protections for renters are pretty weak, having a landlord as an MP is probably not a good thing, especially having a homelessness minister as a landlord as well. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.